Hello friends. So here in this Alphabets of Ethics, in this video, I will be discussing a game with you. In that game, I would try to emphasize that any moral philosophy or any ethical principle cannot be absolutist. Ethics is always taken on a moment to moment basis depending upon that situation. Okay, the universal value system is constant: honesty, integrity, selflessness, altruism, accountability, transparency, all those things. But how you apply those situations depending upon that particular situational crisis is a different ball game. Some people say ना कि मेरा तो ethical principle बिल्कुल fixed रहता है. But are they really talking sense? Can your ethical principle be absolutist? We would discuss that with the help of this game where 4 scenarios are there. Okay. So in this video we will be discussing ethical algorithm, in which we will be discussing 4 scenario game. We will be discussing ethics in private and public relation, and we will be discussing an interesting topic, saint and sinner syndrome. Okay. I have named this topic as ethical algorithm for the simple reason that algorithm is basically different scenarios in which you work upon a particular principle to arrive at a particular conclusion, where different role plays and different scenarios are presented in a enmeshed matrix. Okay, so in this there are 4 scenarios. Okay, in the first scenario, the train. Here the train is moving and you are the driver of that train on a track. Okay, the train is moving in the direction with a fairly good speed. Okay, down the track there are 5 people standing. They are unable to listen. Maybe they are sleeping on the track, as happened in the recent pandemic when somewhere near Delhi border, some of the migrant laborers who were returning back to Bihar and UP, they got killed. And what was found in their bag? Simple roti. Okay, they got it. So it was very pathetic. It was very depressing also. So maybe you can you can juxtapose that situation. These 5 people are stuck there. They are unable to listen to the train. So if you are the driver and you are moving in this direction, you are sure to kill these 5 people. But there is a right siding on the track. You can take the right siding and there is only one person, maybe he is working and he knows that this train is not going to come in this direction. He is working on the track maybe. Okay, so what you would do? Whether you would move in this direction, kill these 5 people, or you would take the right siding and kill this one person. Certainly a normal person would say that I would go and I would take the right siding. Okay, but don't you think that your ethical principle, because this person has not done any wrong, he was not meant to be killed. Those 5 people, the train had to move in this direction. Those 5 people were actually, I could not say that they were culpable or they actually did something wrong, but the normal movement of sequence should be that your train, because your train anyway has to move in this direction only. So you would kill this one person. Don't you think that here your own ethical principle has taken a consequentialist approach, a utilitarianist approach? Okay, maximum good of the maximum people. What happened to deontological approach to your ethics, where means was equally important? Here you are only considering about the end, and that makes your philosophy of ethical principle as consequentialist. Okay, हम लोग बोलते हैं ना कि मेरा तो ethics बिल्कुल fixed है, change नहीं करता है. But are we really meaning what we are telling exactly? Ethics is a concept. Universal values in ethics is fixed: honesty, integrity. But how you apply those things depends upon that particular situation. Okay, so here you would take, in a normal scenario, a person would take this route and this person would be killed. So your philosophy has become utilitarianist. Now come to this scenario. Second scenario. Now you are standing on a road over bridge. A train is moving at a fairly good speed. Okay. and you are seeing that down the track 5 people are standing or 5 people are stuck there. Okay, there is no mean to stop that train except that some heavy object is thrown in its track. Okay, maybe train is not moving at a very fast pace, maybe it is near to the arriving station. Just in that speak of the moment, you saw that one person, one fat man arrives, and he also basically stood beside you. Now what you would do? You have one option, whether you throw that fat man onto the track so that those 5 people standing down the track, their life gets saved. So what you would do? This is slightly ambiguous, because most of the people, whenever I do in my offline class, most of the people say कि this fat man has not done any mistake, so why to sacrifice his life? We won't be throwing this person onto the track. Then you would be liable, because anyway if you are in the center of that situation, you become an active moral agent. Because anyway, whenever you are into the situational crisis where you have the capacity to change the scenario of event, you have become the main protagonist. So that fat person, whether you would throw or you would let those 5 people get killed. So for this you make your own decision, because here it is slightly most of the people say that I would throw that fat man, but some of the people also say that no, that fat man has not done anything. So here again your utilitarian approach is questioned, because personally for me, I would not be throwing this fat man. Okay, I would not be considering this fat man as a mere heavy object. He is means for me, and means are not value neutral. So certainly my approach becomes deontological. I don't know about your approach. Now come to the third scenario. Now the same scenario as the second scenario, but here the difference is that the train brake has been broken out, has been made dysfunctional. Okay, and you know that the train brake has been made dysfunctional by this fat man who was very unhappy because train fares were raised. Maybe he belonged to West Bengal, because वहाँ पे क्या होता है ना कि अगर मतलब कुछ दिनों पहले तक यार 90s का बात कर रहे हैं, 2000 अर्ली 2000 का, अगर 20 पैसा भी बढ़ जाता है ना वहाँ पे बस का भाड़ा, तो पूरा चक्का जाम कर देता है वहाँ पे. Anyway, that time leftist government was there. So you know that fat man has sabotaged the brake. Now what you would do? Most of the people says that they would throw this fat man, considering this fat man as a mere object, and they would save the life of maybe if the brake is made dysfunctional, maybe that train could derail, that train could crash out, or maybe in the same scenario, maybe down the track 5 people are standing. Most of the people say, so here what happens? Again your ethical principle got changed, and it changed in a massive lot. You are considering here now fat man as a mere object, because you know that he has committed that mistake. So depending upon the qualitative aspect of that particular situation, your ethical decision also changes. Okay. Now we come to the fourth scenario. Here you see that in this scenario basically I have taken 2 sub scenarios. First of all, you see that a fat man is standing on the bridge, okay, and you know that this person has planted a bomb in the train. Okay, down the track again similar scenario, 4-5 people are standing, but he has planted a bomb in the train. You know that he has the information, and with proper interrogation he can come out with that information, and all the life in that train could be saved. So what you would do here? I don't think that you would be throwing this fat man to save those 5 people rather than the bomb getting exploded out and all those people standing in the sitting or sleeping in the train getting killed. So again, you would not be throwing. Again, though he is the saboteur here also, but now this saboteur becomes a different scenario. He takes a different color. So this is one sub scenario in this particular scenario. Other scenario is that कि you know a person who has planted a bomb in the downtown area, downtown market area of your town. Okay, you are the SHO. You get hold of that person. Okay, or maybe investigating officer, maybe SP of CBI or SP of that particular district. You get hold of that person. Now you know that there is limited time at your disposal, and you have to torture this person. You have to give him a good measure of 3rd-degree torture so that he can come out with that information and you can defuse the bomb. What you would do here? Certainly you would be applying all the torture that is in the book, or it is not in the book, to come out with that information. So what happens about human life? Every human life is important. So ultimately we find that it's very, very difficult to take on a objective format. Your ethics becomes utilitarian, becomes deontological, becomes fairness based sometimes, it becomes a common good approach sometimes, it becomes your virtue ethics sometimes, it becomes your situational crisis depending upon that situational crisis. So this is the whole concept. Okay, now we come to the second, which is ethics in private relationship and public relationship. See, ethics in private relationship, whenever we talk about this, see, the most important thing, private कौन होता है? Private वो होता है, सबसे पहले तो private relation मतलब हम खुद, हम किस प्रकार का रिलेशन अपने साथ रखते हैं. जो व्यक्ति खुद के अंदर खुश है, वो व्यक्ति दूसरों को खुश दे सकता है, कर सकता है या रख सकता है. ठीक है, हम बोलते हैं कि लोनलीनेस. ठीक है, जो व्यक्ति लोनली फील करता है वो जरूरी नहीं है कि ही इज फीलिंग लोनली जस्ट बिकॉज नोबडी इज ही इज स्टेइंग अलोन. दैट पर्सन वुड फील लोनली इवन इन अ ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल. Whereas a person who is solitude, he is happy, he is enjoying, he is blissfully enjoying his loneliness. Then that same person who is having this experience of solitudeness, he would be happy in a mob of people. So most important thing in private relationship is what type of communication that you make to your own self. How much you know about your own self. This becomes very important. See, I have read in a novel. It was in our intermediate. Novel was Karm Bhumi, written by Munshi Premchand. In that novel, it was said that human beings know least about themselves. Because the more we dive into our own self, the more we know about the external world. How that particular person is, what could have happened to that person that he is behaving in this manner. You become more empathic. A person who knows more about himself. So a proper communication, an empathic communication, be kind to yourself, have a plan. So this becomes the ethics in private relationship and how you can basically increase your ethical dimension. Okay, then comes ethics in private relationship also includes ethics with your family and siblings, your parents maybe. See, ethics in private relationship में एक फंडामेंटल प्रिंसिपल ये होता है ना कि इसमें सहन शक्ति बहुत ज्यादा होता है, इसमें इमोटिव एंगल बहुत ज्यादा होता है, प्रोफेशनल एंगल नहीं होता है, सस्टेनेंस बहुत ज्यादा होता है. तो मान लो अगर कुछ अपने लोगों को अगर कभी डांट भी दिए, कभी कुछ बोल भी दिए, तो वो लोग समझने की कोशिश करते हैं. दे हैव लॉट्स ऑफ दैट इंक्विजिटिवनेस और एंजाइटी टू अंडरस्टैंड योर प्रॉब्लम. So that makes the private relationship a fairly strong, where you can play. Play means you can show your real color, you can real character. Okay, there is a difference between character and personality as well. Character is what you are when you are alone in a room, and personality is what you become when you are with somebody in that room. So personality you share with the world, and character what you share with your own self, or maybe some of the closest person of your life. Then we come to ethics in public relation. Actually, you know, ethics in public relation becomes very important for the present time, because when we are running in the dimension of 24/7 social networking sites, media channels, newspaper, we are exactly living in a post-truth era. So here certain maxims are there. Certain maxims becomes important when you have to be very very ethical as far as your public relationship is concerned. Public relationship can mean PR professional as well as media people. So certainly they must have certain maxims of integrity, maxims of honesty, maxims of impartiality, maxim of advocacy. Okay, because they become our eyes and ear. Certainly every day whenever you open the newspaper, what we have done exactly, हम लोग अपना दिमाग को ना हाईजैक करने के लिए वेलकम किए हैं. मतलब ऑल आवर इंफॉर्मेशनल सेटअप हैज बीन हाईजैक्ड बाय दीस पीपल, न्यूज़पेपर और मीडिया एंड पीआर पीपल. सो दे हैव अ रिस्पांसिबिलिटी कि वो क्या हमको बताते हैं. बट मोस्ट ऑफ द न्यूज इन इंडिया हैज बिकम ओपिनियनेटेड रादर देन फैक्ट बेस्ड. Okay, so in this particular scenario, lots of case study can come up. So you have to take you have to take assistance from those maxims of honesty, integrity, accountability, openness, transparency, maxim of advocacy. Okay, so public relation is slightly, because see, one more thing I would like to discuss. In India, public relation people like media people, they are never ready to be regulated by government, because they cite article 19(1)(a), right to freedom of speech and expression. Because in a democracy it is equally important to have a jagruk, aware janta, aware citizen. Okay, so they say that we would be self-regulating, but self-regulating mechanism has never been successful anywhere in the world. Okay, so this calls for certain, this has potentiality to come up with certain case studies as well. Okay, now we come to the third phenomenon, that is the saint and sinner syndrome. It's a very interesting thing. See, कभी कभी ऐसा होता है ना तुम लोगों के साथ कि सुबह उठे, प्रॉपर तरीके से एक्सरसाइज किए, ब्रेकफास्ट किए टाइम पे, तो सारा दिन एक तरीके से ना अच्छा से गुजरता है. उस दिन you tend to lose less, you tend to waste less time, you tend to be always on the track, and then you feel happy while you are sleeping in the night time, and then again you try to continue this. You are basically in that phenomenon, or in that particular condition, you are basically in the saint syndrome. But you see, ये continue तुम करते हो 4-5 दिनों तक, फिर पता नहीं, because your threshold limit has not been upgraded. Your internal threshold limit has not been upgraded by paradigm shift or transformational changes in your character. तो तुम देखोगे कि 4-5 दिनों के बाद तुमको खुद दो you are feeling happy, but तुम्हारे अंदर का जो सिनर है ना, तुम्हारे अंदर का जो राक्षस है, डेमन, वो बोलेगा कि यार बहुत दिन हो गया. All of a sudden you revert back and you see that your whole routine gets disrupted. This continues for, that sinner syndrome continues for again 3 to 4 days. Then again you feel guilty, self-guilty. Maybe you write diary, maybe you talk to your friend कि यार काम नहीं बन रहा है, nowadays I'm wasting lots of time. Okay, and again you revert back to saint. So these continuous saint and sinner syndrome are like seesaw. वो बचपन में हम लोग खेलते थे ना. And the most important thing required to increase your saintliness or to increase your ethical character is to make that internal paradigm shift. Okay, so that the threshold limit itself increases. Okay, so in this video we discussed important things rather: ethical algorithm, in which we discussed these four scenarios: ethics in private relation and public relation, and saint and sinner syndrome. Hope you are liking my video, and please, if you are really liking, comment on the comment section and share it. Thank you so much.